Welcome to the How to Play video for Folding Space. In this video, I will teach you how to become a space pirate. Take command of your own pirate ship and blast off to the rings and moons of Saturn. For the purposes of this video, we will not be covering how to set up the game. Please refer to your rulebook for these steps. A game of Folding Space is made up of 7 rounds, consisting of 5 phases. The 5 phases are Fold, Equip, Sail, Fight, and finally, Ship Shape. First, let's take a look at the Fold phase. At the start of the round, each player passes their folding board to the player to their left. Each player has 10 seconds to fold their board to the side they want for that round. The player who currently has the first player marker is responsible for counting off the 10 seconds from 10 to 1. Be aware though, pirates don't play fair, and that player can count as fast or as slow as they like. When a player has determined the side they wish to use, they place it face up on the table and cover it with their hands. Once all players have done so, or time has run out, then players reveal their folding board. If a player runs out of time, then they get whatever side is last face up, and should consider themselves lucky to even be getting a turn. Next up is the Equip phase. The decisions they made in the Fold phase start to become important. Each player assigned their board simultaneously, but depending on the decisions they made, and in relation to the other players at the table, what they actually receive will be determined. First, we'll look at symbols that give players items for battle. Swords. The player at the table with the highest total will earn 2 sword cards from the top of the sword deck. However, if more than one player is tied for the most swords, then each of the tied players receive 1 card. Guns and cannons are each treated the same way as the swords. After the weapon categories have been awarded, it's time to look at Jolly Rogers. The player with the highest total Jolly Rogers showing gets 1 Jolly Roger token. On the bottom is a special one-time ability for that player. Ties are not friendly, however, for the Jolly Roger. In the case of a tie, no one wins, and 1 Jolly Roger is removed from the stack and removed from the game without any player at the table seeing what it is. After the Equip phase comes the Sail phase. All players total up the number of sail icons they have showing on their folding board and announce it at the same time. Immediately, all players with the highest total sails will move their ship 1. If they have any Captain Wheel cards, they may modify their movement by spending these cards. A player may move less than their total if they wish. After sails, players resolve blue engines by once again comparing. However, for this, engines are only compared by the players who have not yet moved this round. The players with the most engines immediately move their ships too. They may also modify this movement with Captain Wheel cards. This process is now repeated using pink boosters for players who have still not moved. This time, the player with the most boosters gets to move 3, and may again use Captain Wheel cards if they wish. Now, let's take a look at how movement works. Moving from one moon to the next moon counts as one movement. When moving from an inner moon to another inner moon, a ship must travel in the direction of the ring. Note that some of the outer moons, such as Titan, however, may cost 2 movement to get to, which is shown by the 2 space paths leading to it. A ship may not end its movement on a space path, and a moon cannot hold more than 2 ships at the end of movement. After movement is complete, any player that did not move this round receives 1 Captain Wheel card from the deck. Then, in player order, each player who did not move may spend Captain Wheel cards to move if they wish, but they're not required to do so. Once the sail phase is complete, it's time to move to the fight phase. If any moon has a ship on it, then it's time to fight, and this is resolved in turn order. If a ship is alone on a moon, then they just plunder that moon for 1 reward of their choice, which can be a resource token, a planet map, or one of the skill upgrade tokens. The player must pay any 1 weapon card to plunder. Also note that the map tokens and skill upgrade tokens never get refilled during the course of the game. If a moon contains 2 ships, then those players will battle. The player whose ship last arrived will be the one to initiate that battle and play a card first. Every fight has 2 laws in Folding Space that must be observed. Player must follow the fight restrictions as shown on the moon. Captain Wheels may be played as wild cards for all battles. And a player may never tie their opponent on purpose. Cards are played back and forth and 1 at a time during a battle. However, a player may choose to stop fighting at any time. If a player chooses to stop fighting before playing their first card of the battle, though, they will receive no reward. So let's take a look at an example. A battle on the planet Mimas restricts players to only play sword cards. The first pirate plays a sword card with a value of 4. Their opponent now gets a chance to play a card. They may choose to play any sword card other than a 4, as a 4 would cause a tie. They choose to play a 5. Now, the first player can add another card to the fight. However, they cannot choose to play a sword card with a value of 1, as this would again cause the players to have a tie. This continues until all players are unable to or choose not to play any further cards. The winner is the player with the higher value of cards played, and they receive 3 rewards of their choice from the moon. The loser of the battle, provided they contributed at least 1 card to the fight, gets to select 2 rewards from the moon, if there are any rewards left. Players may also select Captain Wheel cards instead of rewards, but this is always risky since some of these cards have a value of 0. One other thing can happen after a fight in the game. Players of course want to win the fight, but winning by too much is not without penalty. If a player wins a battle by more than 1 point, they attract an evil space albatross. The player takes the albatross token that matches the value they won the battle by. So if they won the battle by 2 points, they'll take the albatross with a value of 2. These are worth negative victory points. If another player at the table already has the matching albatross, the player takes the albatross from them. But if they already had it, well, they keep it. It just goes to show that it doesn't pay to be too bloodthirsty in folding space. After all battles have been resolved and rewards taken, it's time for the ship shape phase. If there are no more Jolly Roger tokens left, then, well, the game is over and proceed to final scoring. Otherwise, add 1 random resource from the bag to each moon and begin a new round. Game end and final scoring. If this was the final round of the game, then players simply count up the points on their plundered resource tokens, planet map tokens, and resolve the scoring cards that were set up at the start of the game. Players with albatross tokens deduct these points from their score. The player with the highest points is the winner. Thank you for watching the How to Play video for Folding Space. I hope that you feel more prepared now to take on your space pirate battles. As this game was produced during the game's crowdfunding period, some rules and components may have changed. Always refer to your most recent rulebook for any of these changes, as well as any rules that may not have been covered during this video. As always, thank you for watching.